Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to the Grand Scale Motivation Show. I am so glad that you are joining us from wherever you are in the world, or if you're going to be able to watch this after the broadcast is done. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And tonight, I am privileged to have a good coach and mentor of mine in business coming through and actually accepting this invite to come and have this interview. She is the founder and CEO of Over the Rainbow and Over the Rainbow Foundation, a business leader, a coach, a mentor. In 1998, she founded a company called Colourworks, a printing agency which she transformed, and now is 2021 transformed to Happy Friday. We will get to know a little bit more about it. She's a multiple award winner in the business area and is passionate about growing entrepreneurs. Ladies and gentlemen, help me to welcome this wonderful lady, Lesley. Lesley, how are you?
I'm so well, Uno, and how are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you very much for accepting my invite to come and on the Grand Scale Motivation Show.
Such a huge pleasure. Lovely to be here. Thank you for having me.
Super. So let's get right into it and start talking about. First, I want to know about Liz. Tell us about Lesley. Where did she grow up and where did she come from? Who is Liz before we get to know Liz, the entrepreneur?
So I was born in 1966. I'm one of four girls. So, and I've always surrounded myself with other incredible women, and I've been very passionate about helping other women in business as well. And I think it comes from my background of being one of four sisters. So I'm the second sister. And funnily enough, I have actually worked with every single one of my sisters in some shape or form in one of my businesses. So I've been very, very privileged to have a very close relationship with my sisters. I was born in Port Elizabeth and moved to East London, where I really grew up, and moved to Cape Town as I matriculated and studied here in Cape Town. I actually ended up studying computer programming, which was something completely different to how I ended up. But, I got that technical information, and it really did stand me in good stead, and it laid a great foundation for business. I got to sort of understand another side of my personality, and which was more the logical, mathematical, logistic side. And I think it really, helped me in business as I moved through my journey.
Okay. So PE to East London and then Cape Town. Then you did computer programming.
Yeah.
And now ended up on the entrepreneurial side. When you think about your upbringing and that time when you were young, what or who was the biggest influence in your life?
Without a shadow of a doubt, it was my father. My father, back in those days, they kind of had one job, and my father started at the very bottom and worked his way up to sort of chairman of the board by the time he retired. And he was just such a huge influence in my life. His dedication, his hard work, his sort of loyalty to his business, and he was just a real shining light. I mean, I often would sit, with him in his study and, be very interested in all the things that he did. And even though he wasn't a typical entrepreneur, he really taught me a lot about business, and he was absolutely somebody that I hugely admired, looked up to, and was really a huge influence in my life.
Sounds like he was a very industrious man and worked very hard.
He really did. I think they really believed in hard work and loyalty, and really sticking to to that one sort of business and one job. And, he ended up obviously doing really well for himself. But, growing up, we weren't by any shape or form, we weren't a wealthy family. But, my father worked really hard for everything that he got in his life. And I think that hard work and just seeing him and being that example to all of us was something that, I certainly have taken through into my business life.
Okay. So you're done with high school and you studied computer programming. Did you go straight into entrepreneurship, or you started working somewhere? What was the time between you founding your company Colourworks and finishing school?
So I started working in personnel, funnily enough, and I had a woman boss, and she was amazing, and she really took me under her wing. Her name was Susan Sarkozy. I remember her really well, and she was just absolutely incredible. So I started in personnel. I worked in the Golden Acre on the 18th floor, and I thought that I'd sort of died and gone to heaven. I had this very, fancy office. I really thought I was I was quite something in those days. And I started interviewing young programmers and placing them in jobs. So because I knew the jargon and because I knew all the technical terms, I was sort of qualified, even though I was really young. I was qualified to interview these computer programmers and system engineers, and I stayed there for 3 years, and it was incredible. I learned a huge amount, and then this job came across my own desk, and I ended up placing myself in one of my own placements. Which I don't think my boss was very happy about. But I think that it was time for me now to, get into a more, it was actually more into a sales role. Right. And for a couple of years, I ended up, more in the sales and marketing side of other businesses until when I just reached just over 30, I decided, no, I wanted to be in charge of my own destiny. I wanted to design my own life. And that's where I'd worked for a color printing company. And I saw that color printing was absolutely on the rise. These big companies, all the financial institutions were buying these big color printers. And sometimes it wasn't in their budget. So then they were looking for companies to print for them. And so we saw a gap in the market. And we bought our own printer. And we became the go-to company for the financial services industry, where the results would come out of the JSE at sort of 5, 6 o'clock. And these, Nedbank and PSG and Alan Gray in those days, they wanted, you're probably too young to remember transparencies, and they wanted their PowerPoint presentations printed. So we would print 25 copies of their PowerPoint presentation with their little pack of transparencies for their overhead projector. And, we would deliver it to the, head of finance or the CEO at sort of 2 o'clock in the morning, because they were on the red-eye flight to Joburg for their big presentations. And that's how we kind of, started, and that's how we hustled. And, the more, and we based our business on 3 values: efficiency, cost-effective, and quality. And those were the 3 things that we really stood by. So we wanted to be quick and, and give an efficient service, but we also wanted to be cost effective, because color printing was expensive in those days. And, and we would make a plan every time. And that's how, people would talk amongst themselves. And, there were these 2 girls. I had a partner at the time that, delivered after hours. And that's how we started our business. And it was just incredible. And we loved it. And in those early days, we had a lot of fun printing, binding, stapling. That was our lives.
Making sure you deliver on time.
Absolutely, making sure we always delivered on time.
Quick question there. So you saw a gap in the market. Color printing was the thing that would get you in, and you saw that you could make this service faster and quicker and more cost effective, and then you jumped in right in. But did you have to ask yourself, I'm just imagining at that time you're 29, 30, and you're having to jump into this venture. Were you not afraid? what considerations did you have to make before you and your partner, lady friend, kind of decided to jump off the full-time sales and marketing job to let's go and do this? It's going to work.
Una, I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit. I've always wanted to be in charge of myself, and and I just think, I have a positive attitude. I believed in myself. And I think that was one of the things that I just thought, take this leap of faith. Obviously you're nervous, obviously, but there's a great saying, you've got to just punch fear in the face. And that's what we did. We just punched fear in the face and, went to family, fools, friends, anybody we could find, to buy our services. And a funny story, I mean, my husband today, I think, was one of our first clients. And I think we delivered him a little pack of business cards on our color printer. We would, print business cards as well. I mean, I think it was a 300 Rand job. And we were so excited. We both went to deliver it to him. And then we ended up having lunch at the Long Street Cafe for 300 Rand. So we just spent all our profits, but we were so excited. Anyway, he's my husband today, so maybe that was worth it. But yeah, I mean, we just loved what we did, and we just knew that we were, delivering something that we were, that was quite unique because, as I said, color printing was really expensive in those days, and we knew we were quick and we knew we were good, and our kind of fame just started spreading. But my partner, and she was amazing. She would get we had a rule. I'll get the work because I was more on the sales and marketing side. I get the work, you do it. And when the presentations would arrive, and this isn't any offense to any sort of financial people out there, but they weren't beautifully designed, and they weren't easy to read. There was lots of text on pages, and Jenny, my partner, said, Les, we really could do with a designer just to neaten these up and straighten them out and just make them look better. And that's when we started adding different services. And, because we wanted to fix it and we wanted to spell check it and we wanted to make them look nice. And we got a designer on board, and then we would offer sort of design and printing. And from there, we just grew. And, that was just so exciting just to watch this color print then transform into Colourworks. And after about 15 years, we actually ended up merging with a company in Johannesburg, Designers Inc., and then we became CWDi. But yeah, I had lots and lots of fun along the way and throughout the journey.
Wow, that is exciting. And throughout that 15-year journey that you started off like that, what are some of the biggest highlights in that business, and what are some of the challenges that you faced as you went through that business?
So I think just your first question, as we went along the journey, what the highlights were definitely, adding the different services and realizing, and people were always asking us for more, because we were efficient, because we delivered a great product, we were very much talking to the decision makers and the high end, CEOs and head of financial managers. And they would tell their secretaries, you've got to use these girls because they're so efficient and they're so great. And so we started adding different services. And the next kind of service that we added, they would often have cocktail parties, or they wanted to entertain their clients. And then, we'd start designing their invitations and, making it all look pretty and nice. And then they said, but can't you just organize a caterer? Or can't you just, actually help us with this event? And eventually we ended up being, a full service event management company. And so we designed, we printed, and we, organized the event as well. And I think some of my big highlights were just massive events that we ended up putting on for, the likes of Investec and Alan Gray. And we did big conferences for Old Mutual. And, there were some incredibly proud moments along the way. But some of the challenges was, often hiring the wrong people, not really, going through a proper interview process, growing quickly and being desperate just to, find people and not doing the process correctly. And, you know, you learn a lot of mistakes along the way. And I think at the heart of any business are the people. And when you get that right, in terms of you understand their strengths, you know what you're looking for, because building a business is like building a puzzle. You know, there's no point in having 5 me's or, you know, 10 me's around. You never get anything done. But, you know, understanding people's strengths, understanding what you want them to do, and making sure that they're the right, not only culture fit, but personality fit for the job at hand. And I think those are some of the hard lessons that I learned along the way, is not having the right people on the right seat in the bus.
Wow. And seeing that you were focusing on the high end clients from the start, right?
Yeah.
And you had to be speaking to the CEOs, the CFOs who wanted presentations done and so forth. How did you gain the confidence?
The confidence to engage with them. I think you've frozen. You know, I'm not sure. I think they needed our service. I'm just going to carry on chatting. I think they needed our service, and you know, because we were efficient and effective, and I was used to working at that level. It came naturally to us. And my partner was a bit older than me as well, so she was, you know, she had operated she had been a senior manager in a business, and yeah, the two of us just gelled really well. And I think trust was a big thing. You know, once they trusted us, they developed a relationship with us, and I think that's where it really, you know, grew from there.
Okay. I missed that. I missed some of that because of my network. I think that I went off for a bit, but I can hear what you're saying is that you were already at that level when you got off, and so talking to the CEOs, CFOs was something that you were used to, and your partner also helped you at that level.
Yeah, 100%. And you know, to build that rapport and to build that trust, and you know, trust is a business currency at the end of the day. And they trusted us, they liked us, we delivered a great service, so we just built on the relationship from then, and we got that, you know, annuity income. So that was great.
Great. The other thing I would want to ask, seeing that you are still dealing with those guys, is when it came to pricing, you know, you would obviously charge a price that would help you maintain your business, cover your overheads. You were never afraid of charging kind of premium price to your clients at any point. How did that work out for you? Or how did you come to a place where you were saying, I think I'm worth this much? You know, as an entrepreneur, you can charge yourself underpriced and or go through all of those things.
Yeah. We knew we had a unique product and a very good service. And I think, you know, even though in the beginning, what was amazing with color printing is that whilst the machines were quite expensive, in the early days, the costs would come down, but we could always maintain. They were used to paying, and it was R4 a page. They were used to paying that. But, you know, with technology, as you know, costs can come down and prices came down. So we would never have to bring our prices down as we grew and as we, you know, got more services. We could hold our price steady, and we knew we offered a good service, but our costs were actually reducing. But they were used to paying that. We built up this trust. So it was actually just a win-win situation, because then we would say, well, we won't, you know, give you a price increase because we'd had a price reduction. We could hold it at that level. And because they liked us and they trusted us, I don't think they really minded. And because also, you know, we were delivering to them anytime, and we always wanted to be fair. And I think that was a big thing for me, Uno, is that as long as you're being fair, don't rip anybody off, don't lie, don't try and cheat or do anything like that. We offered a good service at a fair price. And that is something that I've maintained throughout my business career. If you can look yourself in the mirror and say, this is fair, we've worked hard for this, this is a fair price, we understand what our costs are, we know what our overheads are, and this is a fair deal. And I think that that's where we developed this, almost reputation for being it was never cheap, but it was cost effective, and we offered a great service, and we backed ourselves.
Absolutely. Sound like you were giving a lot of value, and because you were giving a lot of value, it gave you that confidence to face your clients, and they were trusting you. So it was, a value exchange, and
Exactly.
and that was really cool. So just for the viewers that are here now that you're watching, you please feel free to comment, ask Liz any questions that you have. You can tell we've got an experienced entrepreneur who not only, and we're going to talk about that now, who not only has had her own hand dirty back in the day, made sure that she started her own company, ran it for more than 15 years, and went on to so now I want to talk about the part where you are merging with another company in Johannesburg, and the part where you then changed to Happy Friday. How and why did that happen?
Okay, so I knew that I couldn't scale this business. We were Cape Town based, and I couldn't scale this business without having a Johannesburg operation. And, I've been looking for a partner for, a couple of years. This is where you really need to be patient, because, when you're going to either merge with another company or buy out another business, that's where finding the right match and finding the right people is so, so important. And I had looked for a couple of years to find the right partner in Johannesburg. And I belong to an organization called the Entrepreneurs Organization, EO. You know who EO is. And I actually made a commitment to myself to join EO in Johannesburg so that I could start networking with like-minded other entrepreneurs that were running businesses. And through that, I ended up meeting my partner in Joburg. She wasn't an EO member, but it was my commitment of going to Johannesburg, becoming an EO member in Joburg. And I found Samantha. And we actually merged our two businesses, and she was Designers Inc. She was in very big events. I mean, she did big events like like Rage, which was the big, computer gaming show. And so she was doing much more public events, and we were much more on the corporate side. So our businesses really, where she was going up and we were going down, it ended up being a much more sustainable business. And that's how that's how we started to grow our business and get a bigger footprint. And then we had been together probably 2.5, 3 years. The merger went through about in 2017, 2018. And as we all know, in 2020, this dreadful pandemic hit us. Right. And it was really a really, really tough time for our business. By then we were entrenched in high-end events. We were very much an events and marketing agency. 60% of our revenue came from events. So it was a really tough time for all of us. But, probably one of my, proudest times almost in our business is how we have survived through this time, even though it's been tough. Even though sadly we have had to, retrench quite a lot of our staff, but we've managed to keep a core team. And I'm very pleased to say at the end of this financial year now, ending February, we've actually managed to even make a profit. So it's really been, but what doesn't kill you make you stronger.
Yeah.
And through that time, we, Sam and I, and having partners in the business, Lele and Janine, we really stuck together, and we really had one rule: just save the business. And we still got to over 20 staff, and we now have turned it around. But I think the realization was that we need to, in September last year, we realized, we can no longer be reliant on events. We can no longer be reliant on, that side of our business. We need to transform this business. We need to change. And that's where Happy Friday was born, because it's now a much more through the line agency. We have won some incredible, more corporate clients, and we're no longer reliant on events as much as we were. And now, I see us moving into that proper advertising space, through the line agency. And actually, we're just about to launch a new company, and it will be launched in the next couple of weeks. So I can't tell you too much about it, but we are about to launch another company specializing in something very, very exciting. So, sometimes in life, never waste a good crisis. And sometimes in life, you go through these tough times. And I firmly believe that when we look back in 5 years' time, this is probably going to be one of the best things that's ever happened to us, because I do believe it's going to be much more sustainable. It's going to be a much better, stronger business than, what we had before with events, which can be quite volatile. So I really think that it's going to, we're going to turn around and think, wow, okay, even though it was a horrible thing.
And that's a great achievement, that you managed to come out of all the trouble that COVID had given and actually strengthen one side of your business. And I'm sure at some point when this COVID era is over, you still get revenue growth from the event side as well.
It's starting to, and it's starting to come back already. So exactly, and it's really, really exciting, and we're loving it.
Okay, so you mentioned something, and the Entrepreneurs organization that you are a part of, that helped you to network, or through that network you managed to meet Sam. Tell us a little bit about networking and how that contributed to your business growth. And maybe also tell us about what the EO is about, so that we kind of get an idea of what you do there.
Okay. So firstly, on the networking side, people buy from people. And I often used to say to my staff when I was building the business, you can't build your business from behind your desk. You've got to get out there. You've got to meet people. And through all my relationships that I've had in business, it's through networking, through meeting people, through saying yes to events. And that's where the Entrepreneurs organization has really been something incredible in my life. I started my business in 1998. I probably had my business for about 10 years. So 10, 12 years. In 2010, I joined EO. And for the last 12 years, it's probably been, something that's just such a constant, incredible people. I've never felt alone. It's almost like having that safety net in place, that you feel you can boldly go. You feel that you have a network of people that you can trust and respect, that they share similar values, that if you're struggling with something, I promise you they've struggled with it as well. And it's just been an incredible highlight of my life to be part of such a great organization. You feel that somebody's got your back. And I just don't honestly think, in fact, it's not even that I don't think, that I know that without EO in my life, I would never be in the position that I am in today. I mean, I'm the chairman of my agency. I'm no longer operationally involved. I have my Over the Rainbow business, and I'm an investor in 2 other businesses as well. So I feel like I'm a real, true entrepreneur now, almost for the first time in my life. And without EO, I would never be where I am now. I have freedom to do the things I want to do, but I'm still loving, the businesses that I do work in and work on.
Wow, that's amazing. And what is the EO? What do you guys do in the EO?
So EO is a global organization. There are probably about, let me not get this number wrong now, about 15,000 members globally now, if I'm not mistaken, maybe even more than that. EO has been going for about 28 to 30 years. And it
Right.
started, it's actually such an incredible story. It started with these 4 gentlemen in America where
Right.
they would often meet for lunch. And just to check in with each other, how you're doing, how things going on your side. And we know we're going back 27, 28 years now. And one of them ended up committing suicide. And the other 3 thought, wow, if we'd only kind of been there as better, friends or better people that were really trying to, could really have delved into his problems or have tried to help him better. And
Right.
that's how EO was formed, where we
Right.
an organization that you can go and tell some of your struggles to other people without any judgment, to be vulnerable, and to actually have people to talk to in business that are probably going through something similar to what you're going through. So they set up their first forum, and this has now just become a global organization with forums and chapters all over the world. And I've been, massively privileged to be very, very involved for the last 12 years in EO on a board level. And I'm actually was the chapter launch expert for Africa. So I've helped launch a chapter in Uganda, in Botswana. I was instrumental in launching the chapter in Durban. And I've traveled all over the world and met so many incredible entrepreneurs thanks to EO.
Wow. Sounds great. And obviously I'm a beneficiary of one of the programs that you started together with others in EO, Bootcamp to Boardroom, and that's where we met. And I can tell there's a sense of supporting each other. There's a sense of we don't judge each other, but we don't advise each other either, but we are there for each other. And that sense is really making a difference in how I think of business. So thank you very much for that. The other thing I noticed about you, Liz, is this consistent positive mental attitude. And even as you speak, that can be rare, that this is something that it actually almost looks like it comes out to you very easily. What helps you keep that positive mental attitude that says, no matter what happens, we're going to push on and we're going to continue with our business?
I think, I have been quite fortunate in my life to surround myself with people that support me, and just trying to remain, even through tough times, remain like there is a silver lining. There is the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And, because in life, you are going to have, light and dark. You are going to have the good times and the bad times. But it's how do we learn from those bad times, and how do we take those lessons and, and become stronger. And I think, I'm just very fortunate that I do have a positive attitude, that I have got I do see a glass as half full. I look for the good. I look for the positive in people. I look for the positive in situations. How can we turn something around? And I think I'm just fortunate it's in me. And, that's just something that I hope that I can rub off on other entrepreneurs, because, times can be tough. And I think some people do suffer from mental health issues or depression. And I'm very fortunate that I haven't in my life, but, it's something that I'm aware of. And how can I use my positivity to influence others and, make them see that there is light at the end of the tunnel?
I see. Fantastic. Now, 2015, you've done more than 15, 20 years in your business. You establish Over the Rainbow and Over the Rainbow Foundation. What brought this idea up, and what do you guys do there?
So my sister, this is where I was telling you that I've worked with all of my sisters. So my sister Sandy had been a teacher for her entire life. I mean, she had been a teacher, and she just really was burnt out. And, we were a close family. And I also, my agency was running well. It was, I didn't feel that it was challenging me as much as it was. And being an entrepreneur and also being in BEO, I wanted to also set up a business to start giving back. I wanted to, set up a business that by the time I turned 50, I would be in a position to start giving back. And Sandy had left her teaching job at Redham, and she came to me and said, Les, I really want to do something. Now, very sadly, my mother had passed away a couple of years prior to that. And just after her funeral, there was this beautiful rainbow that was on this bright sunny day. This rainbow appeared, and we were like, wow. And we sat at a restaurant in Constantia, and we were like, let's start a business and let's call it Over the Rainbow. And so the first thing that we did is we wanted to write a book. And now Sandy, being the teacher that she was, so she came with all the sort of the teaching experience, and I came with the entrepreneurial experience. And we ended up flying over to San Francisco. There was this book writing course, and we ended up going on this book writing course, and we wrote the Entrepreneur's Playbook. And the other reason that we called our company Over the Rainbow is we are the Rainbow Nation, and and everybody knows that the pot of gold is at the end of the rainbow, and we believe that the pot of gold actually lies inside you. So we wanted to help entrepreneurs unlock that pot of gold, not operate from that position of fear, because 2 out of every 3 businesses fail within their first 2 to 3 years. And we wanted to change that statistic and help more entrepreneurs not only survive, but thrive in our economy. And that's why we started this business, to give back, but to also help more businesses survive and thrive.
Wow, what a beautiful story about how the name Over the Rainbow came and how this vision started. And so what programs do you run there? What are you doing? If people want to come through and get the help of the entrepreneurship help they want to get, how do they get in touch with you?
Okay, so we actually run a masterclass, which is a 90-minute overview. So that's just a 90-minute overview of, and we use the colors of the rainbow, to denote various skills that you need to master in order to, run your own business successfully. So red is find your passion. What do you love? And I mean, I can see you love what you do, and I know you're on your way to making a massive success of your life and grand scale, and I'm so massively proud of you as well. So red is find your passion, find your true north, find your purpose. Orange is about marketing. It's about how you get your company out there. It's about your logo. It's about your brand. It's about how you're making customers feel about you. Yellow is about taking action. That's about sales. How are you going to now start selling your product, your service, your offering to the general public? How are you going to make sales? Sales solves everything. Without sales, we don't have a business. So we teach you to, really sell, how to find that little black book, how to draw up a list of potential clients, and how to get out there and sell. Green is about making money. We're not going to work this hard if we're not going to make any money. So it's make money doing what you love. And that's the green level. So that's all about finance. Then we go into leadership, and then we go into your business plan, how to drawing up a 3-year business plan, so that we have a plane cannot take off in Cape Town and land in Johannesburg without a flight plan. Same in business. If you don't have a plan, you're just not going to, know where you're going. So we really help you build that plan so that we can stick to the plan and become successful, because business is a marathon, not a sprint. And then finally, we go on to the violet level, which is really the golden circle, which is our mentorship program. That's a 7-month mentorship program. So after you've gone through our masterclass, then our in-depth workshop, which is our 7 colors of the rainbow, then you have the opportunity to join our golden circle, which is then a 7-month mentorship program that we really dig deep into coming up with that 3-year plan and helping you on your journey, not only to success, but to growth and hiring more staff, so that we can help you scale your business.
Wow, sounds like a fantastic program. And how do people get in touch with you should they want this? What are the criteria for qualifying for the masterclass and then getting into the Golden Circle?
So we have a form on our website, so just overtherainbow.co.za, and reach out to us there, email us. We also are on Instagram at OTR_entrepreneurs, or on Facebook at Over the Rainbow _entrepreneurs as well. So find us there, follow us on our socials, and we're always posting about Golden Circle or new programs that we're putting out, or masterclasses that we have once a quarter.
Fantastic. Wow.
And there's also an online course. Actually, we've partnered with, Media 24, and we've just launched an online course called Smart Woman. And so you can actually, and guys can do it as well. It's 950 Rand, so it's really cost effective. We were in the Fair Ladies, and it's a course that they've designed. It's a platform that we have with them. So you can also do our course online.
Fantastic. Wonderful resources being shared by Over the Rainbow and Over the Rainbow Foundation. And we have the privilege and honor to have the founder and chair of Over the Rainbow here with us. And it's such an informative session. I can see Tracy Mringai there saying, and Dalson. Guys, if you have any questions for Les, this is the time to ask those questions as we are about to conclude. Les, the last questions I'm going to ask you have to do with what's on your heart right now. So you've trained a lot of entrepreneurs. You've walked that path yourself in that journey, and you know the hunger that many young women, many young men have to get onto the entrepreneurship space. What kind of advice do you want to give to them around this area, or whatever else you've noticed in this area? What do you want to tell them?
So first of all, I think there's three things. The one is, if you really do want to become an entrepreneur, and that is something that you're passionate about, you want to, be in charge of your own destiny, you want to make a difference, you want to give back, you want to have an impact. My first bit of advice is just start. I mean, obviously, do your research, make sure that you have a product, you have a service that is unique, but, starting is almost the hard part,
Right.
Just get going. It's not a sprint. It is something that you've got to persevere. You've got to be committed and stay in it for the long run. Be a lifelong learner. Always be, reading up, finding out, be curious, be asking questions, and surround yourself with people who are rooting for you, who are cheering you on, who are your cheerleaders in your life. And I really think that, those are the secrets of my success, is I've surrounded myself with positive people that can help me on my journey, not people that are going to drag me back or drag me down. So, find a tribe, find people like I did with my entrepreneurs organization that are going to cheer you on, but just get going and start small. A friend of mine, Mwabisa, we would joke. I mean, she said, Les, my next book, with the book that I'm going to write, is called 1,000 Meetings. And it does. It takes 1,000 days for you to become sustainable, for you to become, I've got through those 1,000 days. I can start building this business. So, perseverance, never give up. And, just keep going and believe in yourself. Punch fear in the face.
Punch fear in the face. Les, it's been an absolute pleasure being with you tonight and listening and hearing your story, your journey on the entrepreneurship side, and also just hearing your heart about the entrepreneurship space. I know you give out a lot, and I have been a one of those people who benefited from your heart giving out your entrepreneurship knowledge and passing that on. And I hope that for those of you that are listening or watching, you are able to, and if you have the hunger to start on your entrepreneurship journey, you certainly know where to get over the rainbow, and get in touch with this organization, because they'll certainly help you with your journey. But as you watch this story over and over again, I'm sure you will get inspired by what Liz has been saying. So thank you very much, Liz, for coming through. I really appreciate every moment that you've spent with us.
Absolute pleasure, anytime. And all the best to you too, Uno, on your journey to success.
Thank you very much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming through to this Grand Scale Motivation Show. Next week, we continue the same story. We'll have a fantastic speaker that we will have, and we will be interviewing, talking entrepreneurship, talking leadership, talking growth. This is the place where you get to grow. And at the end of July, I said it again, and I'm going to say it now, that we're going to have our annual Grand Scale Motivation Success Symposium, and I can't wait for you to benefit from it. And lastly, Grand Scale Consultancy, which is the sponsor of this program, is an organization that helps entrepreneurs and leaders with their cash flow problems, helping their business grow, giving accounting services. We are here for you. If you are in that space and you need us to come and help you with getting regulations right, with financial reporting, financial advice, we are your people. If you also want to get trained on finance, I know many entrepreneurs who wants to get their finance sorted, or even their strategy sorted, their governance sorted. We are your people, and we're ready to serve you. But for now, thank you very much for watching this. It's been a great time spending with you. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you're in the world.